I do want to point out we do have a couple of our founders here, and I do want to acknowledge their presence here. We have Nancy Owens, who's the founder of the Freight and Salvage Coffee House. She opened the doors to the club. It'll be 40 years this June.
I want to thank all of you for carrying it forward in the traditions that were so important to me. The respect, the appreciation, the value, the community. It's what the Freight has always been about, and you've done magnificently.
Come on, come, did you hear what I said? I'm tired of waiting.
Berkeley, California in the 1960s was characterized by a freewheeling mix of anti-establishment politics, radical lifestyle experimentation, struggles for racial and gender equality, and a profound respect for traditional cultures. In Berkeley, traditional music found a way to survive and often flourish outside the mainstream. A virtual who's who in traditional music contributed to the growth of a small but comfortable performance space on San Pablo Avenue. Out of a handful of performance venues that sprang up during that time, only one remains today, the Freight and Salvage Coffee House. With the onslaught of corporate and institutional co-opting of traditional art and culture, the Freight and Salvage remains a cherished community treasure that continues to evolve.
Ooh, them legs. She's got $1 million figure, oh Lord. Them great big legs. She's got $1 million figure, them great big legs. She walks like she's walking on soft-boiled eggs, but come on. I'm in a hurry. I'm getting nervous. I'm in a hurry. Come on, come, did you hear what I said? I'm tired of waiting on you.
One of my grandmothers had left me a small amount of money. It wasn't very much, but you didn't need much back then. And I sort of wandered around for a while trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And then this idea came forth, and had the support of some friends who, it was more just being there than it was actual anything else. And people just kept showing up. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'd love to be part of that. May I? And can I do it for free? Well, of course. And that was the story of everything that happened.
Arriving to actually do a show, when one would get there quite early and somehow try to get the microphones located that had been, the night before, had been just sort of tossed in the corners, and find the lines that are supposed to go to them and plug them into the system, and sometimes it worked.
Lie sleeping beneath the stream of time, careless words.
The kitchen was the hub of the whole Freight, and when I did start working there, there was a bar, and it opened up into the rest of the Freight, which seated about 89 people, and we made soup every day. And we made brownies, and we made all our cakes and everything, and we had dishes rattling and washing dishes and cooking all through the evening. And our brownies were famous, and our soup was famous. And the musicians' little green room was right off the kitchen, so we were like running back and forth for all our supplies. A group of us who were all musicians got together and formed a group called the Kitchenettes, and we performed at the Solano Stroll years before when it had just started, and we performed for various Freight functions. It was really fun, quite a group.
He's the kind of boy, he's not too shy, and I can tell he's my kind of guy. He danced close to me like I hoped he but something tells me I'm into something good. We only danced for a minute or two, and then he stuck close to me the whole night.
I remember hanging out with my friend Will Spires, and he was saying, "Hey, you know, they're starting a new club and a storefront down there, and you know, this is going to be great. This is going to be a place where we can, you know, play our music," and which is what we did, and we played Cajun music there, and old time music, and bluegrass music, and Irish music. I had the Granyag Cayley Band with Joe Cooley and Kevin Keegan, and the New Tranquility String Band that I was a small part of, and I had Eric and the Edsels and the Diesel Ducks. But the main thing was it was a place to perform music that was not commercial music in any way, but there's always been a community of people around Berkeley interested in that.
Well, now I spin around this combo. All my friends marijuana packs. And you know, child, that shit is fantastic. Without a doubt, his finest batch. Get ready to blow your brains out, Mr. Green.
When I started running the open mic, it cost 50 cents to get in. And there were literally the same dozen people at least here every week because they knew for 50 cents they were going to get one hell of a show. It was quite a scene, and you know, you get here at 7:15 or something, and there'd be people just waiting out here. Guitar cases everywhere. At the time, there was a little shelf of planter boxes where people could sit and pick. And a lot of ad hoc bands were formed right out here.
There's a song for the light
It was just mostly nice having a place to feel at home at, to go and hang out with friends and play some tunes without feeling like one was crossing some threshold into professionalism or something.
There were a bunch of us who were active members of the freight community and wanted to perpetuate the situation. A lot of us were musicians. We wanted to have this kind of a gig to play. So maintaining the freight and seeing it continue was important. There were no other places around that could offer what the freight offered to both the musicians and the audience.
I was impressed with the musicianship of the players that I had seen there, and the players and those players who were involved in the organization. I mean, it's, you know, it was people like Maine, like Johnny Lumsdaine, Alan Sinaki, Darrell Anger. Who else could have been in that crowd? Susie Thompson. Kate Brislin. These were some of the people who were involved in those organizing meetings. I mean, there were several different identifiable groups, but you had the players who all operated at a very high level of musicianship, and then you had the people who worked there who were just very committed to keeping the place open and doing what they needed to do to keep the place going, and the audience, the people, the general public that supported the place. There was a real community the community preceded the community organization, and the community was there, and it was kind of fascinating to see that.